Hello, my name is Pierce Farrell, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Daniel H. and Daniel B. on the Inside the Raptors cage, and we're going to be discussing the NBA draft and the top 5 picks and some rumors behind them, and then we're going to be talking about Bradley Beal. We're going to be taking callers. The number for it is 304-650-2191, and so the first overall pick should be a no-brainer. The Spurs control it, and his name is Victor Wembanyama. Do you think the Spurs should take him, or do you think they should, for some reason, trade that pick? Your thoughts?
I mean, I think that it's a pretty obvious choice. Wembanyama is one of the best prospects, quite possibly ever. He has the most hype, arguably since LeBron. I think that this is going to be a big pick for the Spurs, and they should definitely keep that Wembanyama. Keep him and draft him.
What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, I think Wembanyama is a better prospect than LeBron. There's no way that the Spurs trade him. They need a cornerstone for their new franchise, and the Spurs, they've been one of the worst teams since Tim Duncan left, and Wembanyama should be a new franchise player for them.
All right, and the second and third picks having a lot of controversy and trade rumors, possibly to Toronto. The Portland one mainly being the big trade rumor here because of they just want to get rid of the third pick, try and get like an all-in star to help out Damian Lillard before he leaves. Your thoughts on these trade rumors, and what should they do?
I mean, there's obviously been, it seems like forever now, talks of Lillard leaving Portland. He's obviously expressed his loyalty to the franchise, but a lot of people saying that now is the time for him to leave. There's a possible, obviously, like you mentioned, the third pick, possibly maybe for an all-in piece, or maybe a possible start of a rebuild for Portland. Maybe you trade away Lillard. I don't know. We'll have to see.
What about you, Daniel H.?
You cannot trade with Scoot Henderson on the line. He's a generational prospect who would go number one in most drafts. I can see a Brandon Miller trade in the works, but Scoot Henderson is going to be an all-star and possibly a future MVP. I don't think there's any way you can trade him if you're one of these front offices.
Absolutely correct. And and the fourth and fifth picks, I believe, are controlled by the Hornets and somebody else. I don't know. The Rockets. I honestly could not. I'm drawing a blank on who they are. Why don't you fill me in on them?
Yeah, I believe the fourth and fifth picks belong to the Rockets and the Pistons, respectively. And two of the most interesting prospects in this draft are the Thompson twins. And they didn't play in college. I believe they played at Overtime Elite, which, not a lot of prospects were in there. But they have had some promise, and a lot of people seem to be very excited about them as prospects.
What about you?
The Thompson brothers, maybe you could group them into generational. They're two very good combo guard prospects who can be the best ball handlers on any team they land on. I think the Pistons and the Hornets will get good players in them.
Now, we're going to move on to the Bradley Beal trade rumors here, or the actual trade in general. Trading away Bradley Beal for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a couple of picks. I could say my thoughts, but I want to give these guys a chance to speak. What do you think of this trade, and what do you think is going through the Washington front office's mind as they made this trade?
I mean, it's obvious what Washington is thinking. They're thinking that they haven't made the playoffs in a couple of years, and they're not really going to go anywhere. So now they're just entering full rebuild with this Bradley Beal trade and a possible Chris Paul trade in the future. It's obvious, like a lot of sources were saying that the Wizards were engaging with Beal in trade talks so that they could work out a good deal. And it's obvious that the Wizards got something that they liked, and I think that it's a big trade for both teams. I mean, obviously the Suns have a lot of cap issues with this and Beal's major contract, but I think that it's just a big move for the super team.
All right, and that will end our segment of Inside the Raptors Cage. You should go outside, but wear a coat. Seeing as how it is 55 degrees, and it is looking like it's going to be a light rain through Toronto. And there you go. See you next week.